One of the most common types of obsessive compulsive disorder is actually harm-themed OCD, a fear of I could harm someone, maybe I have harmed someone, maybe I will harm someone in the future. And at NOCD, it's one of the most common types that we treat, actually. So let's dive in a little bit to different types of harm OCD. It could be, was that a bump or did I run someone over with my car? So you go back around the block again to see if there's a dead body somewhere. And you don't trust that you caught it, so you go back around again to look again, and then maybe again to keep looking. And the more that you do that and the more that you check, we know this from experience and research shows, the more checking that you do, the less confident you actually are that you know that you did or didn't do something. So this kind of feeds upon itself then and why people keep going back and looking to see if something bad might have happened. Other types of harm might be, I don't want to have knives around the house because what if I accidentally pick up one of the knives and stab somebody? So you want a loved one to hide the knives to make sure that they're nowhere in sight so that you can't actually go and grab them and hurt someone. Maybe when you have an intrusive thought about harming someone, you try to replace it with a good thought, a thought about how much you love them and how you would never want to harm them or have anything bad happen to them. Other things that we might see are there are people who have been very good at martial arts or have training in the military or something who then become afraid of, did I punch someone or kick someone while I was walking down the street? And so they'll go online that night to look to see if there's any reports of bodies that were found somewhere or people showing up at a hospital with injuries that they could have done. Some individuals may even see that there was a person who was run off the road years ago and wonder, did I drink that night and did I maybe drive? If I did it cause an accident? Was it my fault? I wonder, maybe I should go to the police and tell them. I've even seen a patient who did go and call the police because she had seen that there had been a hit and run in her town. And so she called them saying it might have been her. The one big problem with that was she hadn't actually driven that day. Her car also did not match the description of the car described in the hit and run, and there was no damage to her car either. The police said, if you do this again, we will arrest you for making a false statement to police. So here in this instance, someone who was so afraid that they had harmed someone now might potentially see some harm come to them by getting arrested as well. People with harm OCD are attempting to neutralize the fears around that idea that they've harmed someone. Their goal is to be sure that they haven't done anything bad or negative that could be hurtful or painful to somebody. They want 100% assurance that they have been good, that they have not done anything wrong. And their compulsions are done to check to make sure that that's the case, or to try to neutralize this intrusive thought or image or urge that they've had. For treatment, we want to help people learn that they can handle this idea. One of my favorite treatment experiences with harm OCD was standing a foot from a train track with someone behind me who had a fear that she would push people into a train. And for 3 hours, I told her to push me into every train that came by. And at the end of 3 hours, I turned around and I said, well, I guess you're not a murderer. And she was able to sit with the idea that just because she thought about harming someone didn't actually make it true and didn't mean that it was a real thing. Our goal when we do exposure and response prevention therapy is to help people sit with the discomfort that they have about their harm thoughts or images or urges and learn that they can handle them. If that sounds like something that would be helpful to you, please reach out to us at nocd.com or treatmyocd.com, and we would be happy to work with you in learning how to handle your harm-based OCD.